Hello, I'm Blake, and this is my journey to and through Uniprep. This is a table of contents, so we'll start off with an introduction, so I'll just say a bit about me, then we'll move on to Cornell notes matrix, and we'll finish off with paraphrasing. These are all the strategies that we've been taught about in our time in Uniprep. So we're just going to start off with an introduction. I'm Blake, I'm a Year 12 student currently attending Wanneroo Secondary College, and ever since my secondary school learning started in Year 7, I knew that I had a desire to participate in tertiary education after graduation. Naturally, once Year 10 came around and we had our subject selection, I opted to study 5 ATAR classes for my senior years at the college. It was in these years where I discovered my desire to pursue teaching as a career. This coincided with me learning about the Uniprep program offered at our campus. The course appealed to me as it offered an all-in-one pathway to the university rather than studying 5 ATAR classes, which I did in the prior year. Cornell note-taking, a more efficient way of note-taking. Cornell note-taking. One of the skills we have gained so far in our time in Uniprep is how to effectively apply the Cornell style of note-taking to our learning. Cornell note-taking involves using a number of techniques such as color-coding and splitting notes into main ideas and key ideas to aid the student in actually processing and memorizing the information, rather than being in one ear and out of the other. Throughout my high school learning, I've always struggled with creating effective notes that encourage me to actually process the information, rather than simply write it down. Cornell notes, however, fill this gap in my learning. The style can be applied on paper and digitally using a template. As you can see, that is what I've done in the image to the right. I've used a Word template and filled out the information. It starts with understanding the article, writing the topic at the top of the page, and referencing the subsequent article that the notes are referring to. The next step is to present any existing questions on the topic prior to reading the text. Next is to divide the page into halves. One side is dedicated for the main ideas and topics of the article, and the other is for the key information from the article, color-coded to its corresponding main idea, making it easier to retrieve key information. Early in our semester, we underwent an assessment known as Organized Notes, in which we applied the Cornell note-taking strategy. This can be seen in the image above. As you can see, it's split into two and color-coded, so we've got the student experience in blue, and then on the right side, the paragraph or the dot point matching up with the same information. Notes matrix. Structural note-taking on multiple sources. Another effective way of structuring and organizing notes that has been taught to us in the Uniprep course is through the use of a notes matrix. Much like the Cornell note-taking strategy, the format divides the sources into key ideas, where you can then subsequently write notes in dot point form below. Where the notes matrix differs from Cornell format, however, is it can be efficiently used to gather data from multiple sources rather than a deep dive analysis on just one. The sources are lined up vertically on the left side of the matrix. This allows the user to gather information on a broader range of information. Differing perspectives can help give a more whole idea of a topic than just focusing on one source, like the organized notes and the Cornell note-taking strategy. Above is an extract of a notes matrix that was in preparation for an essay on the topic of artificial intelligence in the healthcare system. The notes, being divided into 3 key ideas, allow for easier reading and retention. In-text referencing each source is also essential as it improves credibility and allows backtracking. So as you can see, we have source 1 on the left, and then we've split it up into 3 key ideas and gathered the information from that source. These sources, however, are all on the left, and these 3 key ideas remain the same for all sources, allowing to gather easy information that can be used for the essay. Paraphrasing, a way of understanding and rewriting information. Paraphrasing is an essential part of academic understanding and writing. It starts with reading a text and ensuring you understand the material. The next step is change words in each sentence using synonyms or different language features. The sentence structure then must be adjusted from the original. After these steps are completed, the paragraph should be fully in your own words and successfully paraphrased, usually being in higher word count and more detailed. The skill of paraphrasing is not only essential throughout university, but it also helps in general life. Building your skills of understanding information and being able to phrase it in different words while still retaining the same meaning. Above is a graphic that displays the steps of paraphrasing. The next slide will feature the same image but larger, allowing for easier reading. Now here's that same image but larger so it's easier to read, and as you can see they've got an example text on the left and then gone through the steps of paraphrasing it and putting it into their own words. This is a very essential skill throughout university, as it is how you process information and use it in your own work. Here is a reference list of the sources I've used to gain information throughout this presentation. Thank you for listening.